So I have another question for you. What is the food that is the most difficult to give up on keto? Is it the pasta? How about bread? Is it the chips, corn chips, potato chips, popcorn? That was my weakness, by the way. I'll just put a little check mark there. Sugar desserts. What about rice? Potatoes? Or is there another one? Go ahead and comment down below. I'd like to know your biggest weakness on keto. The goal is to put you in a state of health, so healthy that occasionally going off the program is not going to create a big problem. The problem when you do go off the program is that the next day your blood sugars are off and you're going to want it more and more. So it's kind of a slippery slope because as soon as you start to go off, and then you go off, and then you keep going off, and a month later, you're off. The other problem is that when you consume these foods, they're called carbohydrates, you're going to activate dopamine. And dopamine is part of the addictive circuitry that you have in your brain that you need more and more of it to achieve the same effect. So you start off having a little bit, and then you end up having a lot down the road. But overall, healthy keto and intermittent fasting is your best option for handling the physical addictions, the body addictions to certain foods, especially these right here. Because it's going to get rid of your hunger, it's going to get rid of your cravings, but unfortunately it doesn't handle the mental habits that you might have, or the mental addictions. You have certain memories. You're in social situations and everything goes out the window and you slide right into your happy place where you start consuming some of these foods. So I have a couple tips for you. Number one, you absolutely positively need some substitutes, similar foods for these, so that way you don't feel deprived. Because as soon as someone says that you can't have something, it creates scarcity and you're going to want it more. So that's one problem. And then the other problem, there's just so many insanities that are connected with foods, feeling guilty for eating something you shouldn't, beating yourself up, that whole thing. Just do keto consistently as long as you can and work on trying to improve your self-control with the ideal situation of eventually getting to the point where you really don't need it. You can have it, but you don't have to have it. So that would be the ideal goal because you handled the physical thing and now you're retraining yourself to have better habits with the help of some of these substitute foods that will give you similar pleasure. So you get rid of your hunger, you have no more cravings, you're working on self-control. There's also a point about being satisfied after a meal because some people, when they eat something, they feel full, but they're not satisfied. They need a little something, something right after that meal. This has to do with doing healthy keto versus dirty keto, consuming foods that are high in nutrients that will satisfy you. The longer you do this, the more you're going to correct insulin resistance. And you're going to be able to absorb more nutrients because insulin resistance blocks your ability to absorb nutrients. So you want to consume nutrient-dense foods. You need to take certain supplements when you're fasting, of course, or when you're doing keto to enhance things, B vitamins, electrolytes, etc. And the longer you do this, it's going to be easier. But also, you may need help with some bile salts. Bile salts will help extract certain fat-soluble vitamins and nutrients in fats to really satisfy the brain. I noticed that when certain people take bile salts, they really get satisfied to the point where they have no hunger, no cravings, and they're completely satisfied after they eat. Anyway, those are just some tips. Thanks for watching. Before you go, if you have a question about a product, or you're new to keto and you want to know how to begin keto, or you're on keto and you need a debug because it's not going as smooth, I have a keto consultant standing by to help you. This is just for the people in the US. Hopefully in the future we'll be able to answer everyone's call. But I put the number down below so you can call and get some help.